What is up, everybody? Good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of the HeroesHearth Warcraft 3 Fight Night. My name is Kendric, and I'm as always being joined by the lovely, handsome, wonderful Grubby, and we're going to present you a little bit more Warcraft 3 action. And this time we have a really stacked roster to present to you because we're going to have a reigning champion, Starshaped, facing none other than one of the strongest NA players that we currently have, Hitman. And Grubby, what are your thoughts? How are you doing, man? What do you think about this matchup?
First of all, I think we didn't switch overlay yet on the main screen.
Oh, that is true.
I still
My
think
mistake.
I'm pointing at the
Now
future.
we see the wonderful, handsome, awesome, amazing Grubby. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Yes, hello everyone. It's good to see you. You know, if you can't see us, then we can't see you. So we were like, is no one watching? And now we're like, oh, look at all those wonderful viewers out there in the audience. Kendric, it's good to be back here with another fight night coming up with Hitman and Starshaped. And you know, I've been seeing a lot of noises in chat of people saying that actually they think Hitman is the favorite going into this. You know, I've played against Hitman a few times. He was good, but I'm thinking Starshaped, that Swedish gaming talent.
Yeah.
I think Hitman has a match out for him. Now, have you done another interview with Hitman?
I wasn't able to do an interview with Hitman, unfortunately. Our schedules, they passed by one another. But I was able to do one with Starshaped. I'm not sure if you could watch it, but Starshaped, I think, tends to agree with your point of view, Grubby, as well. I wouldn't say is worried or scared of him, but he definitely respects him a lot and says that, in his opinion, Hitman is actually the strongest player in NA that we currently have. So he says, for example, that he's stronger than OC or maybe stronger than Hunter, who are currently competing at the WGL.
Right? Oh, did he not try to qualify for the WGL?
Not sure what happened to Hitman. Maybe we can ask him if he makes it today. We can maybe ask him next time.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So Hitman, of course, guys, is an orc player. Starshaped is a night elf.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of this match will get $200. The loser gets $100. And there's also a little thing called the bounty. The bounty grows as the wonderful general, highly esteemed peasantry and the subscribers and everyone here watching. As you do a contribution with the Twitch cheer, bits will be added to the bounty for the players. And as you keep winning, the bounty keeps growing. It's only when you finally leave and dodge a challenge that you can take that bounty home for yourself. But if you don't ever dodge a challenge, eventually you're going to lose, right?
Yep.
Or maybe you win forever, but eventually you're going to lose. And then the winner takes the bounty from you. Kind of cool.
Yeah, and you know, we had some fun banter as well with Starshaped in that interview, because I know a lot of you guys have approached us, and a lot of you guys show such, commitment and passion for this format that sometimes player names were requested, and we were getting requests of, like, when are you going to bring the big dogs, when are we going to see the likes of Happy or Side or, other really, like, top-tier players, not to take anything away of the likes of Hitman and Starshaped, but, Starshaped was basically saying the moment we bring someone in like Happy, he's going to take the money and get out of there.
I was teasing him, actually, like, I'm not the one that decides who's next, but I can give some advice or lobby. And I told Starshaped, I'm gonna lobby for Happy to come and to come for you once he gets back from WGL. He was like, "No, f you, no, please." He said, "Even if the bounty is $10, I'll run with it," which makes no sense because second place is $100.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing about this format, Grey, right? We're having a lot of fun, casting and watching these players duke it out, but also the players, of course, get another chance to prove themselves, and especially the, want to call it like second elite, the B tier players, the C tier players, they really get a chance to prove their worth and, to make a name for themselves, because we get to see players like Happy, Foggy, we get to see those guys play a lot. And there's not really a whole lot of, tournaments and possibilities ready for, the players slightly below them to really qualify themselves, and get a little bit of money. So that's why we think Fight Night is such a special thing. And that's why you guys can, of course, contribute with all the bits that you contribute during today's broadcast. You're going to help and support the scene, the players, and the production crew alike. Now, I did open the first lobby because you will have to excuse, guys, if there are some issues, sound levels, some other hiccups in production today. I'm basically a one-man show today, substituting for dearest, esteemed observer Kagekiri, who couldn't make it today. So hopefully everything is gonna work out smoothly.
You're gonna be observing, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be observing. So you can do whatever you want, and
Okay,
I'm gonna try to catch everything. If we miss any epic creep steals or creep jacks or something along those lines, it's all my fault.
I'll do my best to support you, as always, of course.
Thank you, thank you.
So just send me the game name, and I'll send it to the players as well.
Yeah. So, let me see. Oh, that's a little tricky now.
We have a best of 5 format, guys and girls. We have a best of 5 format. Yep. That means the first 3 wins will be crowned the victor. We also have the maps already decided. The first map is going to be Twisted Meadows, and after that it's going to be loser maps. Both players have vetoed one of the maps they'd rather not play. Two maps, actually. There was a 9-map pool. Hitman would rather not play Last Refuge and Amazonia against Starshaped. Pretty good maps for Keeper of the Grove. Quite oppressive on Amazonia. It's a small map. Hitman apparently would like a little bit more space than that.
Yep.
Whereas Starshaped removed Concealed Hill, has the 2 healing fountains, which is quite nice for Orc, he thinks. And he also removed Northern Isles.
That's true.
I'm not sure that it's really a good Orc map, but he's got to choose something. Apparently he likes the rest so much that he removed that one. And it is rather big. Maybe he likes to have a little bit more control over his opponent.
Yep. So, yeah, Twisted Meadows, always an interesting one. Personally, can't wait. I'm also a little bit confused. I would almost say that, players that don't play Night Elf, such as Hitman in this case, they let Twisted Meadows go through against Night Elf because we also know how crazy these fights can go, or these games can go on this map, with the Night Elves in the very late game being able to expand at so many different locations, with an Orc in particular having a little bit of a problem here. Okay, I'm going to rehost that then. Okay, you can do that too. Awesome. So yeah, with Night Elves being able to expand almost everywhere on the map, so many gold mine locations available, and we've seen that many times when there's just Tree of Lives everywhere, and the Orc tries to sort of, keep up with those expansions, but because Orc expansions take so long and they're so vulnerable if you don't go for a tiny, then they oftentimes can't keep up with the speed, and they oftentimes lose because of superior economic advantage for the Night Elf.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just that element of surprise that can be really tough to deal with on Twisted Meadows.
Yep.
We had a really interesting match recently of the Chinese player Life, who is a pro player and is playing in the WGL. And he was playing against Lin, a Korean Orc pro player and a legendary player in his own right. They were 1-1 in score, and the final map was Twisted Meadows. And Lin read him like a book. When you do, it's quite a good map for Orc. But the Night Elf has many options. It's just that Lin knew exactly what he's doing. He started with the Farseer, scouted with wolves everywhere. He kept not seeing an expansion somewhere. So he thought, oh, you must be rushing me then, because you're not expanding and you're not creeping. He pops in for a look, sees 3 Ancient Protectors coming up. He's already got a War Mail, he's got Catapult, so he's stopping this tower rush right in its infancy. And that was easy. What's Starshaped gonna do? We don't know really.
Yeah, and he also mentioned in the interview that he's in a really different situation this time, whereas before he could kind of prepare for his opponents much better, especially Kiwikaki, who he could basically watch a whole best of 5 of when Kiwikaki played himself against Hunter a couple of weeks ago. This time he's once again in this position where he has to defend his tile, and although he met Hitman a couple of times with Netties, they face each other there a couple of times. It's not like he has an abundance of material to analyze from. And let's see, Starshaped also said that he was kind of, really feeling comfortable when he played against Kiwi because in a land environment. But last time against Hitman, when we were starting to sweat a little bit, Grubby, we were like, uh-oh, is Hitman actually going to reverse sweep this? Because he got so strong in the last couple of games. He actually said that he was feeling tired, You mean
Priest or?
No, Starshaped. So he said that he was feeling tired,
okay.
And that Priest maybe looked stronger because he was not feeling so well anymore. So let's see if he had some more sleep this time, some better physical preparation.
Well, he's had plenty of time to adapt to the schedule, since 2 weeks ago he was playing at this time also.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have both players in the game, so we should be ready to start any moment. Let me see if they're ready.
Yep, that's awesome. So the first game will be on its way, guys, and we're very excited to present this game to you. Starshaped, our reigning champion, Night Elf, against our boy Hitman from the NAs, playing as Orc. Not using his real tag here, by the way, so don't get confused. He's Ludique.
Okay.
It is the real deal.
Here we go. First game is underway. We see the starting locations is bottom left for Starshaped. And he doesn't build an altar right away, which means he's going for a tavern hero. A very big departure from what he's been showing so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm going to just take care of something here. Only going to have to do that once, and then we're going to be fine. So you guys have the overlay ready.
So the screen is frozen right now, but don't worry, it's
frozen.
not lagging. That's standard behavior these days with Warcraft 3 when the viewer taps out for just a bit. So apologies, but should be fixed momentarily.
Yep.
Just setting up that overlay. Hopefully it should be working okay. I can tell you guys what's happening. Nothing at the moment. Well, obviously they're making workers.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Oh, thanks for summoning me. Feels a lot better. I was like, where am I?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can get the overlay to work now. I tried it. It worked flawlessly, but you know, the wonders of technology sometimes. They let you hang up in the air when you least want it. But
so
yeah.
we won't have the hero overlays. Sorry about that. Hopefully next game it'll work. But either way, we're going to take you through all the action, so not to worry. If we take a look at the base of Hitman at the moment, he's actually microing 4 peon micro to mimic the same efficiency as a 5 peon micro. This is only possible when the gold mine is northwest of the Great Hall and you put the altar just so. You can get nearly 100% mining efficiency with 1 peon less.
Yep.
That doesn't mean you're getting more gold, but you are getting more lumber instead, which means a quicker tech. And additionally, he's also set up his barracks in such a way that he can pull the rock golem creep from above where the wisp is to steal it. It's like a creep AI abuse. It's really good. But the wisp being there shows that Starshaped is going to mess with it if he can.
Yeah, and Starshaped is also sending wisps out on different locations right now, and he's not going for a Night Elf first hero. Looks like he's going to try and surprise his opponent with a Tavern hero. Night Elf, of course, you know, almost predetermined to be able to do that. They're by far the race that gets away with it the best. We see a variety of heroes. And here we see the Golem creep, by the way, in the Orc base of Hitman. Yeah. Body blocking in the Golem here with the help of the Barracks, which is a mighty fat target. The Grunt and the Blade Master.
It's so sick because you can use the burrow with 4 peons in it to get a lot of piercing damage. Much of the camp isn't even fighting you, so you get a very easy creep taking very little damage of a camp that normally you can't take that early. He sells both items, TP and True Shot, giving him a bonus 375 gold, which is actually his bank right now. So it looks ludicrously useless at the moment to have that gold. But there we go with the first expenditure already. He's going to spend it on a grant. However, at the very south side of the map, when Altar of Night Elf was just 80%, Starshaped actually threw down a Tree of Life before anything else. A Tree of Life after your altar, expanding before any units. And only afterwards did he make 2 Ancients of War. 1 at the Merc Camp, 1 in his main, and a Hunter's Hall also. So this is Beastmaster Mass Huntresses, but it's with a fast expand first. That Tree of Life is going to walk to the natural. It's going to help tank. And it's going to be such a big economic boost so early on that Hitman is going to have to sniff out and do something about, or he'll start falling behind economically.
Absolutely, and he's desperately trying to find where that hidden Tree of Life is, or, you know, what his opponent, the Night Elf Starshaped, what he's up to right now. The Grunt is scouting, hasn't seen the Tree of Life here in this very sneaky position. And what's really cool about this Beastmaster first pick as well is the fact that you can use your cool beasts to keep the Orc player busy in his own base. You know, we know that from human players when they go in with the Archmage and some Water Elementals, sometimes with Undead players and Fiends, you know, to really harass the early weak spot of any Orc base, which are the burrows. So the Blade Master wasn't really able to deal any damage onto that Tree of Life that was in construction. So a really cool distracting play by Starshaped to buy as much time as possible.
Yeah, exactly. It's a classic build pioneered by Spirit Moon, the Korean Night Elf player. He used this a lot in the 2005 to 2009 era,
Mm-hmm.
and one more time in 2015. And so this is really cool. It's very strong strat. Generally, it's a lot of hit and run. Beastmaster will first just kind of take it easy, do that bit of harass that he did. But eventually he'll start creeping. He starts trying to get that expansion up. And then anytime the orc wants to say, go for the Tree of Life, he's just going to base trade,
Yeah.
go for the burrows, peons, and force the orc to go home. And I'm very curious to see, now that Hitman has entirely scouted everything, what he will decide to counter this with. You can try Double Mass Wyvern, you can try Classic, you can try Shadow, you can try TC. He's actually going to play Classic with Shadowhunter and Walkers, probably heading for Snakes.
Yeah. I was also wondering if there was going to be a Naga, for more immediate pressure, or if he was going to go the standard route with the Shadowhunter, as you said, going a little bit more safe, especially maybe gearing up for the late game, because on Twisted Meadows you can farm and creep so nicely. You can get a lot of different spots ready, some nice items too. And getting the base up, getting tree built is one thing for Starshaped, but also clearing the expansion is a completely different story now, with the Orc knowing exactly what he's up to. So the Blade Master's in position, the Shadowhunter will be there soon as well, could actually go for the Serpent Wars as well, against that Mass Huntress style, to have a little bit of an early counter available, right?
Yeah, exactly. He'll try to use the Shadowhunter in that way. In the meantime, though, I want to say Hitman, really intelligent scouting. He steals one of the creeps. He's just an inch away, or a centimeter, from level 2. The Grunt, not fully surrounded, uses Speed Scroll to definitively get away as well. And Beastmaster's actually taking a lot of damage. There was a lot of cool stuff happening here. Starshaped not rushing things, not going for the most obvious plays, immediately clearing his Tree of Life. Instead, going for this creep camp, which can give him bonus mercenary firepower soon after taking his expansion. To be in a place where the Hitman wouldn't expect him to be at. But Hitman scouted both. Oh my god, the Forest Troll Berserker got left behind and actually went on a bit of a hunt.
And he's probably going to fall now. The Blade Master doesn't have movement speed boots yet, but he could have probably chased that down with a Windwalk, but he decides to stay close because he realizes the moment this troll baits out the Blade Master too far, that will basically give a free window of opportunity for Starshaped to clear that gold mine. Now, I like what Starshaped did there as well. Both players really trying to utilize these items very usefully in the beginning with the Dust of Appearance. Reveals the Blade Master so you can harass him even more. And this is really cool, I think, Grubby. We haven't had this in Fight Night right now, where both players are mind gaming. We're trying to mind game each other so nicely from the beginning.
Where both players essentially, I think what you could say, but you're too nice, where both players are playing really, really properly. Like a lot of good decisions, intelligent, well microed. The Blade Master being exactly where he needs to be. Dust of Appearance comes out, those Starshaped showing good discipline.
Absolutely, and the Blade Master is being kept at bay now. Both players are trying to really get that sweet last hit on the Ogre Magi, and it looks like Starshaped got it, and he gets the Pendant of Energy. A very welcome gift for any hero in Warcraft 3, really, because more mana, more abilities, more damage, more win, more profit. And that's really what Starshaped is trying to establish here. Now, what is going to be the answer of Hitman? For now, he's been repelled successfully, but as it oftentimes is with orcs, right, Grubby? The Blade Master level doesn't matter necessarily, because he's going to get there anyways. He doesn't really have a big power spike like other heroes, but the Shadowhunter, that is the real gem in the orc army. You want to get that guy to level 3, 4 as quickly as possible for big Serpent Wards, for big healing waves.
Yeah, correct. Blade, the higher level, is more damage. Level 3 is better scouting. Scouting is always good, even in situations like these, but it's not essential since he knows everything that is going on already. Starshaped actually makes the kind of controversial decision to omit going to his shop, protecting it, and just go straight for what he feels, what he sniffs must be a creeping attempt somewhere by Shadowhunter. He guesses wrongly that Starshaped might be, that Hitman might be at the top right, but he finds him anyway by proxy. He heard something, he saw something, and he seeks the fight. Not 100% ready, no heal scroll for this Beastmaster, nor level 3. This is not a fight that is actually good for him.
That is going to be a very tough fight indeed here. The Orc is looking pretty strong here with those Serpent Wards. A Coda Beast actually joining the fray there as well. And so many Huntresses getting really weakened and bruised down very quickly that there is no other choice for the Night Elf to use the TP scroll immediately and get out of harm's way. Right now, it's all about using that economic advantage that he's got. He needs more Huntresses. Is he going for any tech so far? Yeah, the tier 2 is going to be there soon on the Night Elf side, but it's still a little bit of a mile away here. So he may want to go for a second hero as well. As strong as the Beastmaster is early on, he kind of falls off in the mid to late game, so there's definitely some supportive power to be desired. Now, what do you think, Roy? What could we see as a second hero potentially for Starshaped? Is it going to be a Naga, the good old classic neutral duo, or is he going to fall back on something else, if at all? Maybe he's going Beastmaster solo.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, this strategy was mostly played with solo hero, trying to get high-level summons that you send to the Orc base as the main fight goes on, and they find it difficult to deal with that. They don't generally leave 1 or 2 walkers at home. I think it's gonna be single Beastmaster. This gives him more Huntresses, but if he would get a second hero, it would probably be the Panda.
Right.
But for now, it looks like single hero Beastmaster. Not a single Huntress upgrade here. 4 Huntresses, no attack upgrades. Is he working on Moonglaves? He is on the second Age to 4, but it's not even close to finishing. No heal scrolls for the Beastmaster for Starshaped. This is a great fight for Hitman. He does, however, lose a Spirit Walker immediately to the focus fire of 3 Quill Beasts. The other walkers have barely any mana to dispel those 3 raging Quill Beasts that are firing away from the back. They're doing so much damage, and this is natural territory for Starshaped. Despite not having all the ideal conditions, he is actually having a lot of backup here with his Huntresses coming out, with his Wisps coming in with the Detonate.
And I think the Orc player is looking very strong here. He's got 2 Kodo Beasts. They're all devouring and munching on those units in their bellies. The Beastmaster very low, being used or being forced to use the Greater Invul here. And it looks like Hitman is turning things around here. He spotted that window of opportunity. He spotted that golden moment that allowed him to really use his strong mid game with a Shadow Hunter, with a Kodo Beast, with a Scroll of Beast that was used there as well to maximize his impact in that early fight, which was only naked Huntresses. As you said, no upgrades at all, no additional hitting power. And he's got the fortified upgrade armor as well in the buildings. We see now Watchtowers looking strong with that fortified armor. No more bonus damage from anything other than siege units, which the Night Elf player currently doesn't have. So let's see if Starship is maybe building more AOWs if he's trying to go for glaives. But this is looking like a disaster right now. More and more Moonwells are falling, which means no more healing, which means he could get supply blocked. And what's most crucifying here for him, or most torturing for the Night Elf player, is the low Beastmaster. You at any given point have to expect a Blade Master coming in from the shadows, a little bit of an end snare from the Raiders, and this is really an uncomfortable position for Starshaped here right now.
Yeah, not only that, but during the fight, in an effort to tilt it in his favor, he emptied his entire gold mine. He's now got 3 Wisps in it, but it's taken that long just to get them back in. So whatever second base he had has been a farce. He's mostly been mining 1 versus 1 base throughout that entire fight, and he's got the worst army. It's a recipe for disaster. Blade Master is, of course, easily able to take all these units down, as there is no Blade Master suppression effect, no curse, no miss, no slow. It's just the Blade Master in his natural form, slicing units like watermelons. And the shop is finishing in the base of Starshaped. This looks like a very confident, well-executed game by Hitman with very few mistakes. Good scouting, good control, and most of all, a good timing attack. Not making a rookie mistake of attacking too soon with Shadow level 2 or too late after there were too many units. Really hitting a very close StarCraft-like timing before Moonglaive upgrade finishes.
And as you said, Grubby, I think from start to finish, Hitman is showing almost no signs of weaknesses here. Like a boxer with a perfect defense. He even paid attention to the position of the Watchtower, build it very close to the ramp, so if the Huntresses wanted to engage uphill, they wouldn't have vision immediately, taking some free shots in there. So it really seems like he came into this game with a perfect counter plan to what Starship was doing. And it really shows his expertise, his experience in natties, where I'm sure he's faced this strategy before many times, so no, not breaking any sweats here. The rival of Starshaped, the Challenger, coming in cheekily, but swinging mighty with a great punch and already taking game number 1. And this is not what I would have expected here, honestly. Starshaped looked so strong 14 days ago against Priest, especially in game 1. This time, it looked like he was being brought to a territory where he didn't feel comfortable at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's mostly just when a good player meets unexpected strength. This is what it looks like. I won't say that Starshaped didn't make any mistakes. He did. There were mistakes. But if you look at his game flow, his macro was good. His food management, like a lot of things were good. And he would have been level 3 if that Ogre Warrior level 3 didn't get stolen at the Mercamp. It's a lot of the things that Hitman did that placed Starshaped in a place where he had a question mark over his head. Am I stronger right now, or do I need more time? Can I afford to do this, or should I do that? That indecision only comes when you're faced with someone strong, because when you're playing someone weaker, it's like, well, I do this, I win, I do that, I win. You don't get punished and you won't feel it. I feel like that's what happened here. So this might be like a reality check for Starshaped, and I think he's going to fall back in the second game on things he's more comfortable with, and he will be able to adapt to the fact that Hitman is playing like a player who should be playing like this.
Absolutely. Looking like one of the strongest, maybe not if these, maybe even if, the strongest player that we've got in NA. So super good performance by Hitman. I can't wait to see what else he's got in store for us, and also what Starshaped is going to show us. 14 days ago, he showed us some really good games. Against Orc, I think the last time we played against an Orc was against Kiwi Kaki. It also looked fairly easy for him there, playing standard, but those were still the days of the Keeper. So much time has passed since then, and the Keeper, while still being a good hero, is no longer that absolute terror that drives orcs and other races alike insane.
Yeah, that's true. We don't even see 100% Keeper against Orc anymore. We see Keeper, Beastmaster, and we see Demon Hunter. I want to make one correction, by the way. I misunderstood the system of the maps for the time being. What I said at the start, their vetoes, is actually not their vetoes. They vetoed EI and TS.
Yep.
And the maps that I mentioned are their go-tos if and when they lose.
Yep.
So that's the one that I'm going to be hosting now, is Concealed Hill,
Concealed Hill
for Starshaped.
Great. I'm just going to follow you. If you could host, that would be much appreciated.
Yep, of course.
I'm just gonna
You're
follow
doing
you.
enough already. He's running the whole show, guys.
All right.
From
Great
production.
stuff. I see the game name too, so I'm just going to follow right after it. Feels pretty good, I'm not going to lie, though, to observe. A little bit of Warcraft 3. It's definitely a premiere for me, but it's really cool, to show you guys a little bit of the action and to hop from one place to the other. Feels good. I think, thank God I just don't have to observe StarCraft 2, where there's a lot of action going on all different spots on the map at the same time. I think Warcraft 3 is a very observer-friendly game for the most part.
Yeah, it's a bit slower paced than StarCraft 2, right? Like in StarCraft 2, there's like multitask in 4 different places.
Like a Ward Prism drop here, and then there's gonna be a 2-prong attack here and there, and
Upgrade timings.
yeah.
I love how they upped the production of StarCraft 2 casting over a period of time with all the info and stuff. Hopefully,
So
we'll
good.
get some really cool observer tools as well in Warcraft Reforged. For now, we've got a very watchable game. I think everyone that knows Warcraft loves watching it.
Yep.
With
absolutely.
or without overlays.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we're gonna have the overlay for this next game. I tried to refresh it, tried to reboot it. So we're gonna see. Next map, guys, is gonna be Concealed Hill. We're waiting for our NA Challenger Hitman to join the lobby, and then we're going to get right into it. He's currently leading. We're also going to update the score, of course. Just noticed that. We can do that. But he's leading 1-0 against our European champion, Starshaped. Little bit of a surprise to some, maybe. What about you, Grubby? When you came into this and you heard the names, and you saw this match with these names, did you have a favorite right off the get-go, or were you more like, nah, probably a 50-50?
For these two players?
Yep. What were your initial feelings?
I've played against Hitman. He's really good. But I thought Starshaped was going to be maybe a 3-2, 3-1 favorite.
Right.
Might still happen. But actually, after seeing the first game, granted, it was not a standard strategy by Starshaped, and he might fall back on something else. But Hitman looks solid, really solid. And I'm very excited to see what he's going to be doing in this second game that is underway, ladies and gentlemen. And we see an altar first by Starshaped. Back to Demon Hunter or Keeper of the Grove first.
Yeah, what are we going to see here? Which Night Elf hero is going to be presented to us here? I'm a little bit of a fan of the Demon Hunter these days, you know, especially against Human. I like him quite a bit, especially against Undead, of course. But against Orc, I think he does just fine as well. Keeper, as Grubby said earlier, is not necessarily the go-to anymore. Just took too many hits, you know, too many nerfing hits. And especially his buddy in crime, you know, the Alchemist, also not really as strong anymore. The beautiful synergy between, you know, the poison and the entangle, the trins to hit everything then. It's not as good anymore and not as safe to get killed.
It is
all the
still
time.
good though. We do still see Keeper of the Grove to be. Oh my god! I had no idea you could build an Ancient of War there.
So close. Don't tell the trolls. They could barely see him, I think. But, you know, creep AI is one of the great mysteries of Warcraft 3. We still haven't figured out how all the different mercs, how all the different creeps behave. Sometimes they will do the wildest things.
I swear, this is a favorite pastime hobby for Night Elf players. Just like find places that you can creep for free with Ancient of Wars. Some players sometimes ask in chat. They say, how do I know where I can place my Ancient of War? How do I know that the creeps won't wake up? If they're not higher level than 5, and they're not protecting a gold mine, they don't give up. They don't care where you put it. As long as the Ancient of War's waving hands don't stroke their chin and tickles them to awakeness, like, it's fine. You can build it super close, no problem. And he started to creep that before his heroes even out, which, by the way, is going to be Keeper of the Grove.
Yep. Good old Keeper, no Demon Hunter shenanigans, no Warden. Against Orc, we aren't really used to seeing a lot of Warden in the first place. Against Human, maybe. Sometimes against Undead. Usually on Tyrannostand a lot. It's a great map for the Warden because of blinking locations and possibilities and harassing. But on this map, against this matchup, definitely an exotic choice at best.
Yeah, and Warden on this map is tough with the healing fountains. There's not even damage of attrition, bringing someone down by wearing them down, because they can just go to the fountain. You do get that fountain control. We saw Warden sometimes on fountain maps with the old Lost Temple, but it was almost always paired up with Mass Huntresses, just so that you can have an entire Sentinel force that can hide in the night. That was kind of cool, but you know, this isn't Lost Temple. Starshaped is actually going to play something that Hunter... Wait, no, this is different. No, he made a second Age of War. This is different. It's Mass Huntresses, possibly tier 1, possibly with, possibly without an expansion. He didn't even make the second Moonwell. First he went for Hunter's Hall, second AOW.
The question is now when or if Hitman is going to scout that out, because he kind of needs to see this coming. Otherwise, he could be surprised quite badly. And also, we want to give a shout out to our man Lepimp in chat, who just dropped 5,000 bits. Thank you very much for supporting the Warcraft 3 scene, the players, and this Fight Night format. We really appreciate that.
A huge cheer coming in. Thanks very much. We have Treants and Archer now going ham on this burrow. This is the second burrow in production, and it is definitely going to get cancelled. But the peon from the left looking to do a citizen's arrest. Keeper will get away for now, though, and remain at large. Meantime, the third burrow has now become the second, and the new third burrow didn't exist yet. So he is remaking all those burrows. It will delay the second grunt, though.
And Grubby, we finally see that Tree of Life being produced over there in the upper half of the map. We see that an expansion is about to be on the way anyways. We see a level 2 Keeper, which is definitely the early game power spike that he wants to. So he can have Trends, he can have the Entangle, just in case the Blade Master gets a little bit too attached to the Night Elf hero. Can always keep him at a safe distance. So what is Hitman going to do with this? We've seen Orcs, you know, go for a relatively early tech. Speaking of which, Tier 2 is now complete for the Orc. So we see these Tier 2 counter expansions quite a bit. When the Shadow Hunter is out, when a different second hero is out. But basically, you know, use that momentum, use the strong Tier 2 that they've got, and basically tie things up in terms of economy.
Yeah,
do you have a Benny Hill theme ready for these two?
Any what?
Do you have a Benny Hill theme ready for these two? Still chasing one another?
I love that. I love those situations with the Benny Hill themes. It's just licensing, man.
Can't do it. But yeah, the Blade Master used a teleportation staff here, by the way, to go to the Grunt. Very smart, very good move, and try to interrupt the building process here.
In the meantime, Starshaped cancels his own counter. He's going to cancel the Spirit Lodge, which is the main counter to Keeper of the Grove. He will have to cancel his tree, though, and the longer he waits, the more it costs him. Oh my god! He cancelled it at 1%, his Tree of Life. And
Wow.
it was maybe 80-90% of the way done. So he gets back maybe, what, 50 gold?
Yeah.
You lose everything percentage-wise. So what I think might happen is that Starshaped flips the switch and instead goes for an Ancient Protector rush. However, that's not what we are seeing. No third Moonwell. He's taking his Tree of Life. It's like he's really just taking this loss on the chin. The Tree of Life is gone. Cost him a lot of money.
Yep.
He cancelled a lodge and he killed a shop, but that's it. Nothing else. No AP rush, no adaptation in that sense. And it's just going to remake the Tree of Life as we speak.
Yeah.
Same place as before.
Okay, didn't work out the first time. He's going to try to make it work a second time regardless. As you said, Grubby. But the moment you mentioned this AP rush, right, it was almost like Hitman and you were on the same org page. Because the moment you mentioned that, there was a grunt scouting already. If, you know, Starshaped was pulling several wisps to maybe support this rush. Because the Keeper had already been in his base. So many cool man games, so many cool things happening at the same time once again.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good that Hitman feels that as well. That like, wow, this was great for me. But instead of dancing on the clouds, he says, okay, what's the next thing that could go wrong? What if you AP rush me? And he scouts for that. Shows a player that's really in the here and now.
So I'm so impressed by Hitman. I can't tell. I can't express enough how I feel about his map awareness in particular. Like, always sending that grunt, always being there with a Blade Master. He doesn't even have a Farseer, you know, where you could be like, well, with a Farseer, it's kind of easy to maintain that map control because he has 2 Feral Spirits to use. But he's using the tools he's got, and he's being almost perfectly efficient, I might want to say. Like, once again, he's on the map with a teleportation staff as well. He could always use that as a safety tool. And he's probably going to find out that there's another Tree of Life coming. And this time, Grubby, we have a natural ally on the side of the orc, right? Daytime. That means no excessive Moonwell abusement. This time, everything counts. Like, if you weaken those Huntresses with a Shadow Hunter too early, can't necessarily bring them all back up again.
Yeah, exactly. The Healing Fountain will not be accessible for anyone. Neither have the firepower to take down the camp that guards it, which is why it's only a half Healing Fountain map. Unlike Lost Temple or Knollwood, where the creeps are so easy to take out. The creeps here are tough at the fountain.
Yeah.
And Starshaped, he has no town portal, no invulnerability, no heal scroll, no protection. His Tree of Life just finished, but he's not in a position to do anything about it. Moonglaves, not finished. Oh, now finished. Well, technically they weren't when I said it, but 1 second later they were. So he's got Moonglaves, he hires Alchemist, and pretty much this has to deal damage, because his plan B is quite far back. The Tree of Life, it uprooted, but it can't creep by itself. The Spirit Lodge cancels he did, great. That means every Entangle, every Force of Nature, it's going to get value.
And these are pretty much standard grunts, Grubby. As much as we would like to see some armor upgrades, perhaps to fight this style with the Alchemist, there are none available at the moment. And we see the Entangle coming in. Another safe grunt kill coming in there as well. The Blade Master trying to get the squishy Archer in the backline to get at least something in retaliation. But trading an Archer for a grunt, always a good trade for the Night Elf player. Now, this time we see another Entangle to go down. The Dust was used preemptively, so the Blade Master would take additional damage, has to escape. And this looks pretty good for Starshaped. Very much old school Keeper style of a couple of months ago, where this was the standard, and it looks like we need some more hard-hitting power for the orc. You know, as you said, we need those shamans to go in to dispel the trends, to maybe deal with the Entangle as well. The orc just needs a little bit more time. The question is, does he have that?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it really goes to show the value that Starshaped got here, canceling Spirit Lodge not just once, not just twice, but twice at 90% progress. Dispel comes in late, and Shamans, they're not just for Dispel, but they're also for rooting someone down and keeping them with you, which gives you an easier time to deal damage on that target, since they can't move for a while. It's a really big, slow purge. And without Hex, which is actually really low value against Mass Huntress, you want Heal and Snakes, he also couldn't catch anything. So straight up, he just lost 2 grunts in that entire altercation. And although it meant the Tree of Life couldn't root yet, it was not the number one part anymore, Starshaped strategy. It evolved into something else.
Yeah.
Instead of economic advantage, it became tech advantage. Strange as it seems with Huntresses being tier 1, you can't really call it tech advantage. But by denying the launch, he prevented the counter to his main threat, Entangle. So
Yeah.
he got some good results with that.
That's a really good point. Like, we have seen in almost any matchup that we have these days how important it has become to, shut down production buildings when they're in production or in construction, you should say. You see that so many times, and I really like these good timings that players really have to learn through practice and practice, tons of ladder games, tons of natties games. So yeah, let's see. The first 2 shamans have joined the orc force. They are currently only in adept training. So mana has to be used wisely. We see a wisp there.
Oh.
Can you make it explode in time?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Sorry. Detonate on Shadowhunter and Shaman. Shamans are as fully upgraded as they can be right now. There's a good set of purges on them. Alchemist is only level 1.
Yep.
But he's just throwing acid bombs to try and throw a bit of sand in the eyes of the orc units, make them a little bit less healthy going into this fight. Starshaped is pushing forward. We saw Hunter make a similar mistake against Fly yesterday in the WGL, or maybe 2 days ago, where you've got the economy advantage, but you're pushing before you really have a very big army already. And there's Snakes level 2 here right now. Lots of nice lightning shields by the Blade Master and the copy, the Illusion Blade Master. One Huntress goes down. Second Huntress is getting attacked. Third Huntress, Archer goes down.
Beautiful.
This is a great fight for Hitman. And why is Starshaped attacking with an Alchemist level 1? Into Shadowhunter level 3 when you're look at the Blade Master. Nearly took down that Huntress as well. 5 life. But really, you've got the base. Why force the issue at 60 food when you could wait till 70?
Yeah.
Isn't that 10 more?
Yeah, and it's not like he was forced to commit to this push either, Grubby, right? Because he still had plenty of creep camps left that he could have chosen, perhaps. So he could have waited for his Huntress to get some upgrades maybe as well. But we see the Huntress Hall, actually, which has been idle for the most of the time. We don't see attack or armor upgrades, and he gets those
Keeper.
towers, spots them right in time. Keeper, though, fell, and that is a big blow for the Night Elf. He's been taking beatings left, right, and center, and the Orc just seems to have too much. He's also got those items on his side. A Scroll of Healing, a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability for the Blade Master, should things get too hot. I think Hitman is on fire right now.
I mean, the archers, the towers were cool, but Starshaped was actually doing crisis management in a big panicked way. He sent his Keeper without TP and Invul to the shop. And he got double perch surrounded by Hitman, who didn't miss a beat, didn't make a mistake, got the surround, killed the Keeper. And while the game might have still been salvageable before, now it is very tough indeed without that Keeper of the Grove.
Oh, and Grubby, those lightning shields again, he's using them so well, and he seems to smell that there is just no wisps nearby, no detonates. There's nothing this Night Elf player can do to keep those lightning shield Blade Master copies from reaching the backline. Now, there's a nice concave for those archers, dealing a little bit of extra damage here, but also Starshaped needs to be careful. The Keeper has not yet rejoined the fray. It's only a level 2 Alchemist, and we still see the Blade Master and the Shadow Hunter just reigning supreme. Now, building a Voodoo Lounge as well. If that one goes through, I think it's almost impossible to get rid of the Orc anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Snake fortified position as well, but
Yeah.
Kendric, look at the healing fountain. 4 Night Elf units at the middle left of the map at the healing fountain.
Yeah.
The left side,
Yep.
they managed to get away and heal there to a pretty good amount. They were full red. He's going to bring them back in because he's desperate to keep his Tree of Life
Runs are low.
alive. Can he succeed though? I feel like this is an X tree already. Why not just heal and try to do a later on fight?
Yeah.
Oh, he gets 2 grunts.
Yeah, those grunts were crucial. Those were really important. Gives the Alchemist level 3 here a really big deal. The Keeper, of course, is there as well. Or is he? No, he's going to take a little bit of extra time here. Should have actually been there. I'm not sure what took so long. He probably didn't have enough money and resources to buy it in the middle at the tavern.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Lovely grunts position there with the
so
lightning
good.
shield in the midst of all those archers. Good micro by Starshaped too, though. He gunned down every single shaman he could and every tower. His Tree of Life is still alive, remarkably.
Yeah, I think it's fine for Hitman, though, because basically there's no Wisp mining anymore. So this second base has been shut down. Although there's a Tree of Life, there's no income happening here right now. The Keeper is finally back, but already out of mana, and the Moonwells can only give him so much. Now the Treants, though, they're coming in. The Shamans are a little bit dry on mana, can't dispel them anymore. And this might be the moment, perhaps, for Hitman to take things more slowly. The Voodoo Lounge is not there anymore. The damage has been done. The hero levels have been gained. 4-4 for the Orc. Maybe he can just come back later. Sorry?
Kendric, sorry to interrupt, but daytime is coming. He wants to use the fountain to heal up. He's got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Daytime creeps wake up.
Yeah, this is
they got angry because of the snakes. Okay.
He almost got pinched there into, you know, a rock and a hard place. Good thing for Hitman that he didn't fall or didn't get backstabbed by the dragon and his friends from the healing fountain. Otherwise, it would have been so comfortable for him, right? Orc units, the grunt, they would have healed so nicely from the fountain, but now no more. Gets a production building, though, so that's at least a little something. Hunt was not cancelled.
Staff of Teleport for the Shadowhunter, back to the shop, double clarity, and a mana potion. He guzzles it instantly. Last one, Thirsty Shadow, and he's going to come back with nearly full mana. 250 already and heading towards the 300-400s.
Yeah, and as good as it looked for Starshaped there, you know, being able to repel this first wave of attack, the question is, Grubby, can he do it again? Because this time, we're going to have 2 almost full mana level 4 Orc heroes joining the fray. He's not even scared of getting creep-jacked here by Starshaped. He's just confidently going into the dragon camp here near the fountain, but he's probably going to have to abandon that mission. That doesn't go well. And this is, once again, almost an unnecessary risk, right? Why would you risk getting creep-jacked there when everything was going so well for you before?
He wanted to have that fallback point. It's pure greed. He didn't use an image to scout. And he took a bit of damage there. Didn't get a single creep camp. Lovely archer focus fire by Starshaped. The Shamans are being completely ignored by Hitman. He's fully offensively thinking about his micro in this fight. Lost 2 Shamans with the most mana. Excellent job by Starshaped. But these grunts are 2 armor upgrades, Kendric. They have so much survivability with heal waves coming in, with heal scrolls still being available on the Blade Master. There's a lot of survivability here for Hitman.
And if you ask a grunt what he's dreaming about at night, it's basically a 2 armor upgrade. That's exactly what they want, to be a little bit more resilient against the Huntress normal attacks. But here we see the Blade Master dealing so much damage. Scroll of Healing being used, so much value. Level 5 Shadow Hunter. That could be level 3 Snakes if he wants to maintain that push, or if he wants to go for the raw healing power. A stronger healing wave is always much appreciated, especially since he doesn't have access to that healing fountain yet. But yeah, looking really good. Mana is a little bit low in the Shadow Hunter. And for the first time, I think in this series, Grubby, we could see some minor hiccups for Hitman using the Lightning Shield before the copy, the mirror image. So it got dispelled immediately again. You normally want to do it the other way around. It shall be forgiven.
This is still Snake's level 2. So he went for Heal Wave level 3. Really looking to galvanize what he has. Wants to keep what he has. In the meantime, though, Starshaped, he went in for that creep jack at the Red Drake. But you know what happened just a few seconds ago? 8 Huntresses in queue in training simultaneously. That's the depth of his greed. He was saving up at 50, went for a fight, still at 50, looking to get mass econ. Where are the units? Don't you want 3 Ancients of War when you play it like that?
Yeah.
And now he's just waiting for 6 Huntresses in production. That's over 1,000 gold that is not being optimized just when he needs it the most.
And, you know, this is really the bad position that Starshaped finds himself in as well, because he can't use all those units at the same time. The Orc is that thorn in Starshaped's middle side that constantly intercepts any, you know, lonesome hunts that come in from the left or from the right. So he's going to be in that really tough position where he somehow needs to put his army together. That, however, is easier said than done. And I think that with just raw Huntresses, unupgraded still, by the way, which is almost unbelievable.
What's going on with that? You need 2 attack upgrades, minimum.
Yeah. That would have helped him so much against those beefed up orcs, but...
And don't even say he doesn't have the resources for it. He's sitting on 600, 300. That's after filling his Ancient of War production queue. He's supply blocked, and his Hunter's Hole is just not working. It's just a completely unforgivable, and I mean that in a personal sense. I will never forgive him for this. I don't mean it facetiously. This is an unforgivable mistake.
Oh boy, Starshaped is gonna be so sad if he loses that game, and he's gonna be even sadder if he watches this replay with Grubby. Unforgivable. Never going to play with him again. Only against him, and then you're gonna wreck him.
Maybe if he upgrades next game, I can still pretend this didn't happen.
Alki has died, by the way. Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, he had level 3/3 heroes. He doesn't have enough firepower. He's fighting 0-2 grunts with 0-0 huntresses. And Hitman, he's playing well. It wasn't always clear. Sometimes it looked like Starshaped might actually hold. The Hitman was too solid. He made fewer mistakes and will be the deserved victor. GG 2-0.
Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, that is how you dismantle a reigning Fight Night champion here. Starshaped couldn't really find his rhythm in this series so far. He was right with his assumption that Hitman might be the strongest NA player we've got at the moment. His orc play is looking almost immaculate, almost flawless, and he's not going easy on Starship. No nuggets were given in this game. He took every huntress. He took down all the buildings that he wanted to, and it's very hard for Starship to find back into this. The mass huntresses, whether it's with an expansion or without an expansion, doesn't seem to work.
And you know why? When you need someone to collect the bounty, you call the Hitman. And this Hitman is a professional. He's not going to mess around. He's got a job to do, and he's damn well going to do it. 2-0, and one more to get lethal. One more to get the fatality. The final map, I do believe, is going to be Northern Isles. Let me just confirm that.
It's
we'll
true.
Get that hosted.
I wrote it down. It's Northern Isles. But before that happens, ladies and gentlemen, before we find out if Starshaped is going to fall here to the Hitman, the finest Hitman that was called here from our NA fans, or if Hitman is going to take a dent in his armor, we're going on a short break, 5 minutes-ish, and then we're going to be back with the players giving you a Game 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with a Warcraft 3 Fight Night, sponsored and hosted by HeroesHearth. So thank you very much for tuning in. It is always a pleasure to welcome the best viewers out there. Okay, I lied, Grubby. You've got the best viewers out there for Warcraft 3. But most of them are here, I hope.
We both do. People that watch the both of us are the best. Those
are the best. They're winning at life, 100%. But yeah, we have seen some relatively one-sided games, I may want to call them. I think Hitman, it's safe to say Hitman is in control of that series right now. He seems to sniff any sort of weakness of Starshaped. He always seems to be one step ahead, scouting where it needs to be scouted, sending the grunts where they need to be sent, and whether it was mass huntresses with a Beastmaster or with a Keeper and the Alki, he just deflected those attempted blows with grace.
Yes, exactly. And, using some new elements like the new Shadow Hunter skill set, Snakes and Heal, instead of Hex. Yep. This is definitely something that is off the now, since Snakes got buffed a year ago. Whereas he's also using like old strats like Grunt Raider Walker, and then he's using new strats like Grunt Shaman. He's doing new style scouting, new style tech speed. And not only that, but he's managed to implement 4-peon mining, not just on the standard locations, but even on locations that aren't as known for it. Now, I'm looking at his gold mine, and his peons are maybe mining with 85-90% efficiency. Normally, 4 peons is 80%, 5 peons is 100%. And he's reaching maybe between 85-95% efficiency. Yeah. Sometimes you see that the peon is getting blocked a little bit, because this position isn't as good as when the gold mine is top left, but he's still making it happen. Even if his gold is a little bit lower, it's lumber that's the real threshold for orc in their teching speed. So he's actually managing to tech quite a lot faster than other orcs would be able to that don't use that peon micro. That's why I guess I'm talking about the orc opening, because Night Elf opening is quite standard right now. And yeah, that's a quick tech for Hitman, and it's pretty cool to see him getting ahead in little pieces like this.
Yeah, quite honestly, until you mentioned it or until we saw it today, live in action being used by Hitman, I haven't really paid attention to it. I wasn't even necessarily aware of that you can control and micro your peons that efficiently. So that is really cool to see, and I'm pretty sure a couple of orc players out there or just Warcraft 3 fans in general, they learned something new today there as well. So really cool to see how these players, I don't want to call them B-tier players at this point anymore. Hitman definitely plays like a big boy. So really cool to see how everyone seems to have stepped it up at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be curious to see more of Hitman, and it looks like we will. By the way, you can update the score to 0-2. I got your back. I only saw it now. It is, of course, the third game now. When Hitman teched, he had exactly 0 gold and 0 lumber. There was not a 5 piece of resource, not a nickel out of position. So that was kind of cool. That also means his second burrow is faster than usual. And this is a big map. So although Keeper, Big Bad Keeper, the Grinch that ruined Christmas, is coming over for his usual mischief, he finds a burrow that's already finished. That's unusual and very unwelcome news for Starshaped. Yeah. And Blade Master is already level 2 as well. So equal levels, unharassable. That feels bad for the Night Elf.
Feels bad for him indeed, and it almost seems like, the Keeper of the Grove is... Starshaped is probably used to making that hero work much better than in this series. You're normally predestined to just steal all the candy, steal all the toys away from your opponent. Entangle a grunt over there, get a burrow over here, maybe some peons as the icing on the cake. But in this game, nothing is being given to him. The 3 burrows are now ready, so even if he were to get one, which I'm not even sure if he can do, there would be enough to keep the orc going. He gets 1 peon for his efforts, but that's all he is going to get here. The Blade Master, as you said, already level 2, has a pretty decent looking inventory here as well, with Gloves of Haste, a Tele Staff already, and some extra mana. So this is good. If he finds that grunt, though, that could be a little bit of a setback.
And he will get it. There was a price to be paid. He used the Greater Mana Potion.
True.
Gets a double entangle. He's going to try to go for the deny. Blade Master, can he get the deny? He did!
Really cool.
No experience for the Keeper. Of course, there's no dust on the side of the Blade Master. That means that he cannot definitively kill these archers if he Oh, he will actually, because there's no Moonhide. There was the attempted run. That's
Yeah.
another double entangle on the grunt.
It's a lot of mana, Grubby, and I'm glad you pointed out the greater mana here as well, because as strong as that item is, he's probably not even... Oh, the peon block! Here we go! Hitman, you glorious orc. That is exactly how you deal with a keeper. It's almost like... You know, I don't want to... I'm not sure if Starshaped would have normally fallen for this, but maybe he's already in that mindset where he feels desperate to just, you know, chase down red units because he needs those so badly. He wants these success moments in this terrible series for him right now. And that was greedy. In that choke point here with a 2-man body block, what are you going to do other than TP?
Oh, Naga Sea Witch. Oh, I lost to this recently to a very middling stats Night Elf player. Just Keeper Naga, mass archers, and just keep running at the Orc. And Orc actually decided... I mean, Orc lost a grunt already, right? And the other's nearly dead. And he probably already fast-picked snakes. But against this, you actually want Hex. Does he have Hex? He does! What a hero! He only takes snakes against Huntresses. He knows Hex is better now. He's going to use the Speed Scroll and the Hex. The Blade Master got the tangle, but he's free.
Boom! Oh. Got him! Another one for the storyboard. And, yeah, that's going to be it. Is it going to be the counter kill? No. He gets another Hex off just for good measure. The Orc Blade Master survives as well, has an abundance of healing salves ready. And this is such a heavy blow already. He's trying to get some damage done on the Shadow Hunter, but not fast enough here. And it is actually insane. He's playing out of his mind here. Hitman is showing his guts, and he's ready to take that prize money, that champion title away from Starshaped. And Starshaped, what can he do right now? We take a look at the Orc base. Spirit Lodge already there. Raiders coming in. If you thought Hero Focus was easy already, wait for the Ensnare. You're going to get those Keeper over and over again.
Yep. He's going to move in with Nature's Blessing, which just finished. He's sending 6 Pokeballs to explode with Ancient of Wars in the base of Hitman. So the question is, how ready will be Hitman for 6 archers, 8 archers, a Naga, and a Keeper. 9 archers. He's got 9 archers, 6 Wisps, and he's probably...
Did he see the Wisps?
I feel like he did. I'm not sure, but I feel like maybe he did. The question is, how many potions will Keeper buy? Because the focus target will be the hero. He's not drinking from the wells. He's coming with 100 mana. No potions.
Okay, I think he's buying something now, isn't he?
But the wells. Okay, there we go. But he needs healing potion.
Yeah, he needs something. Maybe on the way, but it's not nighttime, so he can't just go for the Goblin Shop either. This is, a little bit crazy. But here we see the trees, by the way. The trends, the ends are coming. We have 1, 2, 3 Ancients of War building. The Wisps are trying to detonate a little bit of mana away from the Orc heroes. Gets one detonation, another one.
Okay. Shaman has no mana, and he's upgrading Shaman. So there won't be a second Shaman. That means every Entangle will stay. Every Treant will stay. Peons are coming out. Naga positioning, little doubtful. He goes straight for the Shaman. Instant War does get cancelled. Shaman is dead. First Entangle comes out. Treants are here. Archers, a little bit compromised position.
Yeah, he's trying to sort of spread them out a little bit more. You don't want to have them clumped necessarily here. The peons are trying to divert these units and maybe go for a bloody block as well. The Naga, does she have anything to protect herself? I don't think so. The Blade Master just uses a full healing potion. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, and the Naga falls. That takes a lot of DPS away from the Orc army. Here goes an Entangle though. Archer, focus, fire, level 3, save, baby!
Oh, he leveled up right in time. He got Heal Wave right in time. Shadow Hunter, exactly 90 mana, by the way. The double save on the Blade Master. Couldn't have been any better for Hitman. Very nicely orchestrated by him. And the Archer, that is low, goes right past the Shadow Hunter. Does he see it? Does he have the will to take it down? No. He goes for clarity. Now, 2 Ancient of Wars are done. Third is coming along. Archers keep getting produced. Naga's coming out, about 75%. But Hitman's army is growing. He's got a War Mail. He's making Shamans. He's getting a second Raider. Keeper's mana almost entirely gone. And he didn't build an offensive shop either. So there will not be Potions of Clarity, which is actually really key for this strategy, to continually refill the mana pool.
Very true, Grubby. Very true. We see 2 of those AOWs now in the face of the Orc, but as you said, there's the first Raider. Now, when they're actually sieged in, those take extra damage from the Raider. And I think with those beefy Orc units there might be too much of a meat shield going. The Archer numbers are dwindling. Crit after crit, damage after damage blow is being dealt onto those squishy ladies in the back. And 1 AOW has fallen. The second one is going to follow its brother as well, and only one of them is left. It's still rooted. It's not even in the fight participating. Oh man, the Naga is coming now with a healing potion as well, but the Keeper once again completely dry. No more Entangle, no more Treants to work with.
He even used the clarity on the Naga, even though she most likely brought it for the Keeper. It's not like her mana pool matters now. Maybe if she had Mana Shield. But Hitman sees the weak spot entirely. He goes for it right away. There's a weak spot on the other side as well. A Shaman goes down, but a Shaman for a Naga and everything else. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good trade for Hitman. GG, well played. Hitman in a record 3-0
wow
victory.
And you know what? We were talking about some players or the top tier players not necessarily making it to the fight night already, but the way Hitman has played today, I think he's ready for anyone right now. Quite honestly, I think this was some impressive dismantling of Starshaped, who has looked so strong over the very last 2 weeks when he took down Kiwikaki, when he showed his dominance over Priest there as well. But Hitman today, at least, seems to have been 1, maybe 2 numbers out of his league.
Yeah, that's true. He really played at a higher level in a matchup that is most likely still a little favored towards the Night Elf. And not only that, and I'll say it anyway, but not only that, but every game was played on a European host as well. So Hitman also overcame 150 millisecond disadvantage. Very well played. Hitman is ready for more. He takes his first win confidently and beautifully. Doesn't give as much of a show for people. I mean, it could be cool if he first gives away 2 maps and then takes the other 3 and has this legendary comeback. But at the end of the day, this is the way to do it. He's a pro player, and it will be very nice to see who will be his next challenger, to see if they can put up a better match than Starshaped did at this time.
Yeah, I think we could confirm that Happy did indeed accept our offer, so he's going to be joined now. No worries, we didn't ask Happy. He's still busy anyways.
You can't go straight to Happy. We got to kind of make our way through the ranks first.
That's true. Yeah, I think I could already think of a couple of people that could potentially enter the ring now. And so, yeah, that was a quick 3-0, guys. As it is tradition, though, we're probably going to show you another game if both players agree with it. So we're going to wait for their approval and their confirmation there. We would have a race swap. We would have another game. I could maybe see that Starshaped might want to go to bed, so we're going to wait for the approval here. I'm pretty sure we're going to have word from the players soon. But yeah, for those of you who tuned in for the first time, for those of you who might not be fully familiar with the format of the show, the Fight Night here on Heroes Hearth, it's happening every 14 days, so if you give that channel a follow, you're never going to miss out on it. We're also going to upload all those videos to YouTube, so if you ever miss one show, if you miss a couple of games, you can always watch those later. Grubby and myself will have the pleasure to cast all of those for you, and quite frankly, I think, me personally, I'm having a lot of fun. I think these games are super cool to watch. With Grubby, of course, everything goes super easy and smooth. And with you guys out there being such good viewers, we couldn't ask for more.
Good news, Kendric. Thank you, by the way. Good news. We do have a reverse race match coming up.
Yeah.
Both players are up for it. They're ready to give the people a bit more of a show. So I have posted the game name for everyone, and we should be having everyone filter in. That's going to be on Last Refuge. So it's going to be Hitman as Night Elf.
Yes.
Starshaped as Orc. Both are up for it. And this is always funny, right? Because either Orc will win 4-0 today and you can blame Orc, or Hitman will win 4-0 today and you can say, okay, he really was the better player. It's not Orc that reigns supreme over Elf. Of course, the logic isn't ironclad. One player might just have a good off race because he actually practices it, and the other might have never touched that race in his life. But we don't care about ironclad arguments. We only care about hype and arguments and imbalanced wines.
What is your personal take on the current situation? Not necessarily just perhaps in Orc Night Elf, in the Orc Night Elf matchup, but my personal view is that a lot has changed since, the Keeper has been the Night Elves guaranteed to almost win every series. I think we have humans looking very strong, WGL, if you look at those matches over there. We have Undead surprising as well, by many deemed the weakest race at the moment, but still showing strong if in the right hands. So I think it's looking really good at the moment.
I still think they're the weakest, but what 120 and Happy are doing and the level they're playing at, I can confidently say has never been shown before in the Undead race. That level of play has never been as high as it is in 2019 June. In all the years of Warcraft 3, there is value in trailblazing. There's value in being ahead of your time and being better than all your contemporaries. And people that stop playing will stop growing. That's normal. And yet, I never thought we would have such a high level of play as we are seeing from 120 and from Happy on the Undead race. That's amazing. And even players like Hitman, who don't play in any of the international tournaments, but I suspect now probably practices on NetEase, which is the Asian server for Warcraft 3. Even players like Hitman playing at this level, it's a lot cleaner than you would have had hoped to expect a decade ago in 2009. Very nice.
All right. Yeah, I think you're perfectly right with that. And I mean, you definitely know what you're talking about, because you were there when the old guard, the old elite were kicking it off. So it's really cool to see how everyone has grown and how much a game that is, has been around for such a long time still finds these gaps, still finds these tiny niche holes where people can improve and get better at.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat. Hitman says, wait, didn't you beat me in Mirror on NetEase? My elf stands no chance. Oh, I didn't even read that. 3-1 versus you, Orc Mirror. Oh, so we're keeping track. Okay, cool. So that's funny. In the meantime, Hitman as Night Elf. You can update the score, by the way, 0-3. Hitman as Night Elf has gone for Demon Hunter Archer Creeping in a build that looks very much like what we might see in 2009. This looks like a Druids of the Talon build, actually. Maybe the last time he played Night Elf. In the meantime, on the side of Starshaped, it's Farseer 1 Burrow Tech with early pressure, and he runs right into a mana-burning Demon Hunter. That's a bad day for the Farseer.
Oh, what a warm welcome that is from a Demon Hunter. Burns the Farseer down. Can't even use those Feral Spirits too much anymore. Spreading out those wolves very nicely so they don't get detonated and dispelled by one. Oh, never mind. Oh. Almost. The golden window was there. The wolves too smart. They have evolved over the course of all those years. What happened there?
He missed both wolves. And the funny thing is, the wolves were so close, I actually would have made a bet that it's technically impossible to miss. But somehow, Hitman did. And that's impressive, because I have long suspected, but never tested scientifically, that if a wisp is in a location, the direction you detonate him towards, at the tip of your own toes of the wisp, matters for his explosion radius. It's like pivoting. You stand on the tatami, the karate mat, and you put one foot down and you pivot with your second leg. That's the detonation effect of Wisp, as far as I know and believe. So he was actually close enough. If he detonated in the spot he was at, he would have had both wolves. But instead, he missed everything. Then lost the Wisp to Grunt and Wolf, and then missed another detonate on the second wolf. So he actually lost 3 Wisps straight up. And he's still making a Hunter's Hall. So this is not Mass Druids of the Talon. He does need that lumber. Wind Tech doesn't need lumber. Lore Tech does. And he's going for Lore. So those were 3 very painful Wisp losses.
Yeah, the lumber count could be higher for sure on the side of Hitman this time in the Night Elves, by the way. For those of you who got a little bit confused or tuned in right now, this is not a best of 7. This is basically a sweet extra that we give to you guys because Hitman is the winner of the series. He's the new champion, but both players decided to give you guys a little bit of a nugget and play reverse race. And Starshaped almost body blocked himself there with a grunt. The Farseer super close to dying. He's actually going back into the fray, the Matt lad. tries to bait those archers into the Naga
Yep.
as well. And it looks like Starshaped is going to get 1 kill. The other archer patiently waiting.
Yeah, whatever that Farseer was selling, the archer was buying it. And
Definitely.
did a solo chase on the 50 HP Farseer. Naga Sea-Witch in the meantime said, sure, take you down. No hiding done either. Now a shop is coming down. Hitman still at level 1.9. He's got a lumber grand total of 350, sitting at 20 food count. 2 archers.
Yep.
It is up against Farseer Naga, which always means double bestiary or a war mail. It's always cheese. It's always rush. There's always going to be raiders. So this is not going to be a macro game by Starshaped. It's going to be mass raiders. He's upgrading pillage, and he's going to attack.
Okay. And looks like 1 Naga is not enough here right now. That goes for both Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. We're having a lot of Naga in the new patch right now, if you guys have checked that out. So yeah, looking pretty good here. We see Hitman being forced to use the TP on the Night Elves this time. The Demon Hunter is still at level 2, by the way. So a little bit of a bummer. Both players weren't really able to creep in the first place because they were so eager to bump heads into one another. And Grubby hinted towards the Raiders, and here they are getting delivered out of 2 bestiaries, and that means we're probably going to see a lot of focus onto those poor little archers, which there's still only 2 of, so... yeah.
Can't focus them if they die before that, and there's a decent chance that will
True.
happen as Hitman is force creeping this camp. He will finally get level 2, and he needs Greater Heal, but it's gonna be Scroll of the Beast, the worst item he could find right now, together with Wand of Mana Steel. And Hitman... hello? Lumber economy? He makes a single Ancient of Lore, idles his tree, and goes tier 3. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 wisps.
He's clearly trying to counter those raiders with chimeras.
He's got 5 wisps. It's gonna be that 5 wisp, 1 lore tech into Kim Roost.
Yeah.
You make 1 mountain giant and then chimera.
Well...
Okay, no mountain giant, straight chimera. Just upgrade it because his lore just died.
Yes. Plan B, Grubby. It's time for Plan B. At least Demon Hunter found something nice for him, but unfortunately not for the rest of his race, as most of his Night Elven compadres are ranged units, so the Vampiric Aura is probably going to be sold, unless he gets some cheeky mountain giants or some bears who could benefit of that. It's actually pretty nice if you find that in that case. But is he ever going to go there, Grubby? That is the real question.
You can't make units without moonwells. Only zeppelins. They don't cost food. Maybe he can just kind of store up a lot of zeppelins so he can find another world to inhabit, because this one has become very unfriendly to him.
Oh, the Tally Staff, is it going to be enough? The Demon Hunter has another moon well to juice from, but the Naga is so strong on the side of Starshaped right now, hammering that Forked Lightning into the ranks of the Night Elf. There's still so many grunts standing who are not upgraded, but they don't even need to be. The Demon Hunter could be body blocked here, but Starshaped says, why even body block when I've got my ensnares? I got enough nets for all of you. Gets him down, looking strong, and I think Orc is considered to be OP today, because even in the fun racial swap match, the Orcs reign supreme.
Yep, it's proven. It's proven, ironclad evidence that Orc is on the rise. Be careful.
Clearly.
Yeah. Of course, Hitman played a bit better when he was Orc than when he was Elf. It doesn't look like he's as comfortable with Night Elf. That's funny. Thanks to the players for giving us one more comic relief game. But let us not forget that Hitman will be looking for blood in the next fight night in 2 weeks from now. We're going to try to find someone that can withstand the hit, but he looked dangerous.
Oh yeah, he looked certainly Agent 47 level dangerous, looking really, really strong Hitman that is. So big congratulations to him for snatching away the title of Champion of the Fight Night from Starshaped, taking the price, the cash pool as well. Of course, Starshaped still receives his standard fee, but the juicy pot now goes over to Hitman. And Grubby, in 14 days, we're going to come back with another challenger. In the meantime, you guys can, of course, let us know who you would like to see enter the ring. You can always tweet at Grubby, you can tweet at me at Kendric Swish, or you can let HeroesHearth know directly. We're always open for viewer feedback. With that being said, though, guys, It was a clean 3-0. It was a lot of fun and a big pleasure to cast this for you. Grubby, the last and final words go out to you as always before we close the show.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you had a good time. It was a shorter fight night this time, and sometimes they last 2 hours, 3 hours. This time it was a little shorter, but we saw some beautiful games of Warcraft 3, and that's worth more to me, hopefully to you as well, than simply long games. They were good games, and I'm very excited to see what is coming next in the fight night in 2 weeks from now. Every other week we have a fight night. If your thirst for esports is still not fully slated, of course, we have WGL happening as well.
True.
In 6.5 hours from now, we're going to have the group of Happy, Moon, Lawliot, and Focus. It's a double elimination 4-player group, 2 advance, 2 go down. It will be on the Back to Warcraft channel. Our colleagues, essentially, casters in the Warcraft category. That's in 6.5 hours from now. That's going to be really cool to watch as well. And of course, plenty of Warcraft 3 action every day with streamers that are looking for their viewers. So always check out the Warcraft 3 category from now and then if you like, and see what is cooking. There'll be plenty of people that will be there to show you some more awesome games. Kendric, thank you very much for casting and hosting and observing. I think it went very well. Hopefully we will get our observer back, but I know if it happens again, we're in very good hands with you.
We'll be prepared.
So, all right, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Good night.